Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to our show. Guys are doing well because are having a wonderful day on this 5th May 2025. So we're just starting to make videos. We actually started a while ago, but I have to call some of your friends because I got a call this morning from a guy that's in the same situation for the debt as I am. So we had to call each other, then I had to call another guy. It took some time, but hey, at least this is okay. We'll talk about it, what happened. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to another show, welcome to another video. I hope you're doing well, because are having a wonderful day on this 5th May 2025. This is a very short video. A general thank you. In life, I'm a grateful person, and I tend to find reason to be grateful at any situation. One of the reasons I'm grateful for, yes, it is hard mentally. We're going through some stuff, right? I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm gonna say thank you, because even though I'm going through some stuff, I'm seeing people that got my back. Seeing people that are supportive. I'm seeing people that cared about me. I'm seeing people that are really there for me. You guys are killing it. I've been getting more and more support via comments on YouTube, on TikTok, on that's the two I use. So super grateful for that. You see, it's not how hard shit hits the fan. People say often you get back up, right? But that's one of the things. The other thing is, it's not how hard the shit hits the fan, or how hard you fall. Is seeing who's still besides you. You know, I had people that really showed up for me, and you know, it's at time this moment of trial, this depression, has taught me a lot. You know, and it's gonna sound, I'm gonna sound like such an asshole, but it doesn't really. I think it matters, but it does matter. It doesn't matter as much when you're okay, when you don't need help, and people still shows up and say, "Hey, let me help you." I think that's amazing, because you got people that are there for the great days, but for the rainy days, who is still there? You know, that's something else, and I feel like this is a blessing in disguise. I'm realizing that, you know, I got people that got my back. My parents are super supportive. They've been supportive my whole life, but you know, never had a situation like that, right? The first depression, they didn't even notice, because I wasn't talking to one or the others. The second depression, they were there, but the second depression, got the second depression was it's complicated. So the second depression lasted 2 months. Now the second depression was it completely healed? No. Then we had a third depression that happened in October, and you know, they didn't even know, and now we have the depression, and now they know. They're being super supportive, right? So it's a blessing. It's a blessing once again. And my parents, I knew they were gonna be there, but how much they're making it easier, you know. And it's a great time. So people that showed up, thank you. For people that didn't show up, thank you so much. And no matter what happened, I'm not gonna give up. So here's to us keeping on fighting. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Commentary Show. Welcome to another 5th May 2025 video. Today we're doing a update. So if you guys didn't know, I'm gonna keep you guys updated on everything. So about a month ago, I received a paper from the mail, from the government, that said, "Hey, you owe us X amount of cash," right? And this X amount of cash that's paid back. So this was part of why I'm depressed right now. The updates. So a lot of things changes. A lot of things that they changed. It's weird because I don't do an update for everything that changed, but it's somebody called me from work today, my boy Ramike, and he asked me what was new, and I found myself having so much to say, and I'm like, dude, how come do you have so much to say? Because it's very small instances, but it's still as a whole something bigger. So what happened? Well, the first thing that we did when we had the depression, when we had the bill, was we talked to our parents. I saw my father, we called him. Then we went to the office, called to say contested, which was the first thing to do. Contested, say, "I am not agreeing with your decision." And then we went to the place, And then they were saying like, hey, what can we do? How can we say that we contested? Finally, what they're saying is, I have to tell you if we approve the decision right now or not. What I can say is your contestation, or the fact that you contest, is well registered, right? So it went through. We don't have a positive answer. We don't have a negative answer for you. However, it is a case of we're fixing, and people, as long as they're knowing that I'm contesting, that's good, because now, even if you're not guilty, it's like going to court and you're not guilty, but you're saying, oh, I'm guilty. So you have to say, hey, I'm not guilty, and you might still put you in jail for that, but then who knows the ending. Then we had our first payment on the 4th, which was yesterday. Even though, so the amount that I had to pay was $13,202, I had to pay $275 last yesterday. So $275 per year is $27.50 plus 500, 27.50 plus 500, 27.50 plus 500, that's $3,250 per year. Do 13,000 divided by 3,000. So it's gonna take me 3 to 4 years to pay back, right? So what they told me is, if you're guilty, if we found you guilty, you'll pay. And if we find you not guilty, everything that you pay will reimburse you. Now, the great thing is, mistakes happen, right? So even if, see, it's complex. I could be saying, hey, you fucked me over, I want interest, or I want, but then they're not charging me interest if I pay less. Like, for example, they're saying, like, they were very forthcoming working with me. They were saying, like, hey, if there's a problem paying this month, just call us, we'll give you a delay, or we'll lower the amount that you can pay. That is a debt, there's no interest, so that's good. However, we still owe money. And as for me, I guess I could say, with the music, why we contested, we said that we still had a lease on, and I would have to cancel, which was cost some money, which is not true. We said we were not able to get there because it was driving. Now, it is doable by bus. But it's 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 15. It's in between. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's between 2 hours and 15 and 3 hours, and 2 hours and a half. And it's too far to go, right? So I was able to say, hey, I'm not driving. So this is what happened. Now, we had some news because the guy called me today. We're a couple of guys that did the same thing that I did, which was apparently the only thing that you can do. So calling, contesting, and taking a deal. The deal is how much you pay per month, sorry. Now, the great thing is, and that is the ultimate great thing, so we're starting to see positive, where everybody went there, right? They didn't go together, but still. Now, not a single person said, yes, I owe money. So this is good. This is good because we each have a different file or different document. I think file is better. We each have different files, but we're still in the same, like, class action lawsuit, because that the guy would want to do that. So we still got fucked over by the same company. So if everybody says, hey, they said this, they said this. First of all, it looks like it's more believable. So there's this trick. We were watching Last of Us yesterday, and there's this trick in Last of Us where one of the guys, you say, hey, where is this? He's gonna draw a circle. Then you have the other guy who says, hey, where is this? And if they draw the two of the same circle at the same place, it is a good place. So if everybody tells the same story, it's more believable. Now, technically, it's not a story; it's the truth, right? I'm saying it once. I'm gonna say it again. It isn't normal that we are 11 people that understood the same thing, right? So then the guys, they came in. Everybody has taken a deal to pay each month because nobody could pay the amount that they asked. Like I said, some of the guys, they owe 10,000. Some of the guys, they owe 15,000. I owe 13,202. But yeah, that's some great news. Now, ultimately speaking, I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer that you're looking for. I don't know if I'm considered guilty or not. Now, I did tell you that I went to why is it not working? Did I ain't you dumb? You shut off the sound on your headphones. So we're watching Cobra GFS Wendy Saga, which is great. Then what they said was, you know, it's gonna be under review. They said that when I'm gonna do a complaint, the minimum it will take is 30 days, and the maximum it will take is 2 years. I did say that if I pay money and I do not owe money, we're gonna be okay. However, there's a big chance that it takes 2 years, and by 2 years I would have paid a large amount. Now the great thing is I can decide to pay more than that. I can pay, for example, a month I decide to pay $700. You know, and I'm like, hey, bro, this makes it a lot less time, because it's not the amount of time that it takes, it's the amount of cash that you owe. So you have to pay the amount, which is 13,200. I could do it. Do I have a calculator nearby? Okay. It won't be long. It won't be on too long. This is great news. It feels good to talk to people that had the same problem as me. I'm thankful for everybody that's helping you. But if there's a person in your situation, you know, so 25. You're saying 48. 48 is 4 years. Yeah. It's 4 years. It's 48 months. 4 years. Holy shit. I've been paying in 2020, 2030. Yeah. I don't know. It does feel good that we're. I said something to someone last. I'm getting a lot more comments on the YouTube, which is great. I'm super thankful for that, because this is where I'm gonna monetize my stuff. There was this person saying, "Hey, I'm depressed too," and I was like, and I wrote something, and I don't know if he understood what I meant, but I said I'm happy that we're in the same boat, because it feels less lonely, you know. You know, like it's like, and we're watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm, so that's also helped. It's like this one guy who's single, and he has 7 friends that are in couple. Or yeah, in couple is a good word. They're in relationship. But you can be a throuple, you can be a quadruple. I don't know if something. Well, there's polyamory. But for somebody to understand you, they have to be single themselves. That's what it takes, you know. So then they'll understand, like, oh, hey, this guy's in the same situation as I am. You should be able to understand what I'm going through. That is pretty much it. To be completely honest, I'm kind of thankful. It's so weird, because I'm not thankful that this is going on, but I'm thankful that I'm not alone. I'm pissed off that this happened, but I'm thankful that we managed to get out of it. You know? First month is paid, which is 1 out of 48, which is about 2% of what I owe. Right? It's more than 2%, but barely. I think it's like 2.3%. I don't know. Yeah. And we're gonna end the video here. So guys, take it easy.
I think Clippers chew off the way he's here talking shit.
Don't blink, it's your boy. Welcome to the Welcome Player Show. Guys, we're having a wonderful day. Today we're doing a review on this 5th May 2025. We're doing a review that is kind of crazy, and it's Jeepers Creepers. Right? So Jeepers Creepers is a... Okay, first of all, when I say I'm doing the review of Jeepers Creepers, I'm talking about the first and the second movie. There's a third movie, which is Jeepers Creepers 3. The Jeepers Creepers 3 was released in 2017. Jeepers Creepers 1 and Jeepers Creepers 2 were in 2001, 2002. right? So they're, for me, it's not the same. And there's the Jeepers Creepers Resurrection. We're gonna be doing the first and the second one because these are movies that I enjoy. So I got, before we even start, I got a funny story. I was in grade 7, which us we call the high school, the first year of high school, sophomore in high school. Is it sophomore or junior? I don't know. I think it's sophomore for young and senior for older. I think that's what they say. Once again, I'm French, right? So then what ended up happening was I had this crush on this one girl, Sibylle Dufour. Little French girl. Sibylle, it was such a weird story. Sibylle, I know it's a review on Jeepers Creeper, but I have to talk about it because this is a Jeepers Creeper situation. Sibylle wasn't, I don't think I was in love with Sibylle, but she was the first girl that I saw who wore, G-string. She was very sexual for, it's when I was 14 years old. I was 13, so she was a MILF. So I think I was in love with the idea of sexuality, and she, in my mind, represent that sexuality. And Sibylle, that is the weirdest thing. That is the completely weird thing. She took 2 of my friends and blew them in a parking lot. Again, at 14 years old. I'm not judging her. I think she's super cool. Yeah, this is a bit too much information, right? She was the easy one, right? And I had this mentality of, I'm in the friend zone, but it'll work. Eventually what happened is the summer comes, and she's coming to my house almost every single day. But then she started bringing guys over, and I'm like, I'm not really okay with you bringing guys. She's like, oh, sorry. So then the very first day that we were together, only me and her, I lost my virginity. Now, Sibylle, how much I loved her, she loved horror movie and I didn't like it. But it's weird because she liked horror movie like Jeepers Creepers. She likes really old horror movie that weren't that scary. So I lost my virginity. I think it's the day I watched Jeepers Creepers for the first time, or the day after. And I remember Jeepers Creepers because I remember the scene where he has Justin Longskin, and he has his eye in the belly button hole. So yeah, pretty sensational movie for me. I'm sorry about the whole story. There's a lot of information. Poor girl. I hope you don't think I'm slut shaming her. Nor should you. Please don't slut shame people. Everybody should be able to embrace their sexuality, no matter what it is. Sexuality is a extension of love, and love is the most beautiful of emotions. You wanna shame people? Shame yourself first. So Jeepers Creeper, what it is? Jeepers Creeper is part of these very, very weird movies. So for some freaking reason, the 80s had a lot of slasher movie, right? When you think about slasher, you think about two main ones. There's 2 main slasher. I think there's 3, but people will say 2. So the main slasher are possibly Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, right? Now, ultimately speaking, that's not true. There's also Friday the 13th, which is Michael Myers. Now, why is it different? Michael Myers is a normal guy that's fucking shit of evil. Freddy Krueger is a spawn of the devil, and Jason Voorhees is a magic guy. Now, I like to add Chucky, because Chucky is also a slasher, but the Chucky is different because Chucky is more like a comedy than a scary movie. The craziest thing with Nightmare on the Elm Street and Crystal Lake, Friday the 13th Crystal Lake, is that they're kind of scary, but they're kind of goofy. Like, there's a lot of Freddy moments that are goofy, very goofy, and people laugh at these movies, you know? Special, very special. But in these movies, there's also another subclasses of killers. You know, those killers happen to be It the Clown. So why am I talking about It the Clown? Why am I talking about Jason Voorhees? Why am I talking about X? What am I talking about? So many things. Because Jeepers Creeper has next to no lore. Freddy Krueger, a lot of lore. Charles Lee Ray, a lot of lore. The Clown of It, a lot of lore, right? Jason Voorhees, a lot of lores. Jeepers Creeper, next to none. So the Jeepers Creeper is a creature that comes back every 23 years, right? Just like the It Clown comes back every 27 years. Little coincidence. And he feeds, right? So the thing with the two movie is you get to know next to nothing about it. So the very first movie, what is really cool is you find this person, this creature, and you don't know what's up, and then you actually like fight it, and then that's just it. Then in the second one, we hear a little bit more of Jeepers Creepers. We know how he works, and what's kind of cool is they had this this very Chucky effect. So I'm gonna compare a lot to Chucky because that's my blueprint for a slasher. So they realized that they had a good slasher, and then they monetized on the slasher. So Jeepers Creeper is just the fact that you don't know next to nothing about him. Justin Long, which is the guy from so many movies, from Accepted, from Tusk. I fucking love Justin Long. Huge fan of him. And he's Canadian, so that helps. So what ended up happening was, Justin Long is this kind of guy, and he's a kind of badass. What I like about this story is, it's always like so many people with those. It's just those two, right? Now, my problem with Jeepers Creepers is the first Jeepers Creeper, the Jeeper reacts in a way. The second one doesn't react in a way. But what happened is the second one they realized how much people love the Jeepers Creepers or the Creeper himself. So they monetize on the fact that okay, let's put more importance on him. The Jeepers Creeper in the first movie is more so about this. It's such a good movie. There's more importance on the first on the creature, right? But all in all, it's only about Jeepers Creeper. It's only about that. So technically speaking, there's one person that can help them, but she's deemed crazy. I don't know if you can believe her. There's this other person that can help them, and she's not afraid of the Jeepers Creeper, but she gets killed, right? And then they end up at a police station, and he kills everybody. And the second one is actually way better. The second one is actually kind of fucking perfect. So the second one is a school bus, right? And it's so fucking cool because what ended up happening is on the bus there is a psychic. She's psychic, she has psychic ability. She doesn't know it yet, but that's how they know the Jeepers Creepers. So then you really see it. So the Jeepers Creeper goes in and he's gonna be like, okay, well, I like you, I like you, I like you. Now the craziest thing is we got an official Creeper hunter, and that's something we don't have with Freddy Krueger. We don't have with Jason Voorhees. None of them have that, right? So that's one. That's two. I thought it was really cool because in the second one, there's so many like subjects. There's racism, right? So there's racism. For example, there's guys say, hey, it should be that group that dies, right? Or it should be, and there's just these ideas that are explored. If I can save my own ass, how far am I willing to go to save my own asses? But then ultimately speaking, we get a lot more information on Jeepers Creepers. We get a lot more information on the Creeper. Now, my problem with the second movie, it feels very, very boring. So in the first one, it's a car chase. Well, not a car chase, but he's chasing the two. So it's complex. So the Jeepers Creeper is like a hunter, and he caught the smell of the character of Justin Long, which is the main character, right? So he caught the smell, and then he wants to hunt it. And the second one, he's only out 23 years, so he has a school bus full of children, and he has way more than what's needed to eat, So yeah, in the second one, it feels a bit more boring because they're in a school bus. So they're in the school bus. Are we staying in the school bus? Are we getting out of the school bus? Are we running away? What are we supposed to do? Right? And you just go back in and out. But it's really well made. There's really cool scenes. That's really with Jeepers Creeper. It's a great movie. Technically speaking, it's nuts because Jeepers Creeper biggest flaw is his biggest strength. You see other slasher movies that have way more, right? Way more, to a degree where you're like, holy shit, there's a whole. I don't know if you guys understand, okay? But just Jason Voorhees. Go on Wikipedia and write Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th novel. There's over 12 novels. Nightmare on Elm Street. There's so many of them. So, what about getting the lore? I think when you understand the lore, I think it's becoming a bit boring, right? But one and all, it's actually pretty good. Because you're in a position of, okay, well, I understand everything. With Jeepers Creepers, you can just go mindlessly watch a 2 movie. They're about an hour and a half each. It's an afternoon. You're done. You couldn't watch, technically speaking, you could do a marathon of Friday 13, but I don't think you would be finished. Because I had this guy, and he's an 80s slasher librarian, and he reads them. But even then, one of the book of Jason Voorhees, which is Friday 13, will be 8 hours. So they're great to listen, but you don't want to spend like a week listening to that, right? That's pretty much it. So that's your Jeepers Creeper review. Well, guys, take it easy. Peace. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Commentary Show. You guys are doing well on this 5th May 2025. Today we're talking more about... I have to check that I have enough battery. What are we going to? 29%. We're still Gucci, dude. 25 minutes. We're still extremely Gucci. So, today we're talking about G Eternal, which is the Gundam application that came out last week. I gotta say, it is phenomenal. Gotta say, it is so freaking good. And I know I did a little video, but then I was like, no, I like this game so much. I like this game so much that I'm truly gonna be giving out a proper review. So Gundam, like I said in the first video, am I supposed to do like a second video, or am I supposed to... This is the second video. So here's a recap of the first video. My apologies. We don't know much about the first... we don't know much about anything from Gundam. There's a lot of... Let's go with negative first. Then we'll go positive. There's a ton of Gundam, but they all look kind of alike. There's a lot of fighter that you can choose. And the fighter can choose that is actually quite nice is... This is so complex. I think I have to restart from zero. So we started to play... This is my second thought of G Eternal. We started playing a game called G Eternal, which is a Gundam application. Here's my first and second thought of it. I think it's a great game. So let's get into a review if you don't mind. I mentioned before having next to no knowledge on Gundam. And when I said that, I meant it. I have next to no knowledge. I know what a Gundam is supposed to look like. I know exactly what it's supposed to look like. Do I know more than that? Not really. This is as far as my knowledge go. So we're playing this game. And the very first thing that you notice is how much content there is. There's pages after pages after pages of different Gundam, and these are the good guys. So you have the good guys, which is the Air Federation, which is the Gundams, and then you have the bad guys, and there are as many bad guys as there is good guys, right? So then you even have some of them that can transform into airship. They all have, and this is the cool part. So technically speaking, you have different. It's a gacha game. You got different rarity. With the low rate rarity, what you can do with those, the fact that you can use all of the units is actually quite nice. So the first thing you're gonna have is low rarity. What you're gonna do with the low rarity is you're just gonna be using them as a fodder in most games. And these games not. In these games you can develop. Now the greatest thing is once you clear this campaign stage, you can sweep it. So for example, I clear this stage and it gives me a specific unit, right? This unit sucks, but I can sweep it and sweep it and sweep it and sweep it, getting it. And then by getting it, I'm able to evolve it. So evolving is actually quite cool. You can assemble. So for example, some of these units only have one tree, one evolution. Some of them have 2 or 3 evolution, right? Now the strongest of the strongest has multiple. So you need like 3. One of them is 15. There's 15 just upgrades. Get the character that you want, right? Now this is the assembling. The problem that I have is a lot of the Gundam is similar, right? But at the same time, it's just a matter of which one you prefer. Now, with the higher rarity, they have special skills. So for example, I have this one, where it's just amazing. I have this Gundam, where when you kill another enemy, you have a second move. So this Gundam that I have has 3 moves. You kill one enemy, you get another one. You kill another enemy, you get another one. So this is phenomenal. A second thing, you have this perfect support system. The support system is a supporter. So supporter, they're gonna give attribute bonus to each of the Gundam on the field. So more health, more attack, which is great. Ultimately, they're not super good, but no. They have 1 skill per battle. It's energy restore or it's HP restore. Right. Now, depending on their rarity, they have a better skill or they don't have skill at all. And from supporters that have no skill, to supporters, they're still going to give you more stats, right? But they're not going to give you anything else. I don't know why, but I kind of like the lack of light here. I don't know why. I like it. Is it weird? Should I be... there you go. Much better, right? Much better? Good. So yeah. So the G Eternal, it's the supporter are cool, but the actual thing that I love is the commander. So every single time that you have a Gundam, you have a commander. Now the commander is actually super cool. So you have commanders that are exceeding at a close combat, so you'll give them a Gundam as close combat, right? The best thing about it is you can only unlock them with story. So you play the story. For example, yesterday we did we killed the enemy called the Desert Tiger. Because we killed the enemy called the Desert Tiger, what is he able to do? We are able to recruit the Desert Tiger. So this is actually pretty cool. That being said, just so much more than just that. It's complex because I don't even know where to start. I'm not sure if you get, because technically speaking, the character is kind of difficult. So the Gundam, the stronger they are, the rarer they are, right? And this one, the commander, the more they imply, the more that they're involved in the story, the better they are, which is completely normal. So we have this, we have that. I'm gonna go with story. Story is actually pretty good. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like the first season. I didn't like it at all. It's a bit too old for me. They're introducing this concept of newcomer, which is a group of elite people. And the second one, now we're playing Seed, which is the second one. There's a series. For example, the first one is Gundam. The second one is Seed. The second one is Seed Next Generation. The third one is Z. And you go all the way till today. What I really enjoy about this game is that they'll force you to use Gundam from that season. So what they'll do is you'll have two squad. The first squad is a free squad. So you got 5 Gundam, 5 pilots, and 1 supporter that you can choose whoever the fuck you want. So you want to choose your favorite one. The second one is story related. So you can use, it doesn't matter which unit you want to use, but it has to be from that generation. So for example, there's Gundam Seeds. You can use Seeds character. You can't use any character else. So then your mindset is, I'm going to be upgrading character from that season. So that way we get good. No, because next season you're going to be back to 0. But then you can increase your main characters. However, what we did is we increased our free squad. So our free squad is whoever you want to choose. However, now we have a stage that I cannot beat because what's the problem is they're closer. So this is a stage, okay? So this is the enemy, right? This is my free squad, and this is the story squad. So they're closer to the story squad. What they do is they kill the story squad, and by killing the story squad, they're just getting stronger. So when you kill an enemy, you get a second move, first of all, and second of all, you get a good move. So it doesn't matter if your move is, it doesn't matter if your stats are shitty. If you kill 2, you'll get 3 times the power. Then they're at the normal squad. It doesn't matter. There's 7. I'm 5. There's 7 boosted characters. I have 5 non-boosted characters. You know. So now we're fucked. So now what we have to do? We have to upgrade the story characters. But upgrading the story characters, it implies that when I'm gonna be done with this series, I cannot do anything. Right? What you would do is you would increase your characters, and then those characters can carry over, which is really good. That's really nice. The auto system is also super cool. There's a lot of story. I'll be honest and say this first season, the story was pretty hard to get. The second story is actually way better. The Gundam Seed, I actually really like it. And what I'm gonna say is, it's funny because I got a tattoo of Bleach. Ichigo Kurosaki got Bleach, right? I love Bleach. I absolutely love Bleach. But I have a curse with Bleach, which Bleach is very narrative, very one-sided. So, ton of little elements that are here, to a conclusion that's only this one, right? Because we have this conclusion, because we have this conclusion, right? It doesn't matter how we got there. What matters is the conclusion. Now we have another case where there's another manga where there's multiple cases. For example, Naruto, where there's this point, 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 and they end up at this, and this, right? So it's actually quite nice. Now with Gundam, what is actually quite cool is they're visiting every story, every story. Sometimes you're gonna like, sometimes you're not gonna like. With Bleach, if they would do a second Bleach, I don't know if I would read it. If I would read the second generation of Bleach. However, if there was a game covering the Bleach, the second season, I would possibly play it. You know, this was interesting with Gundam. I would never watch the whole season. I will never watch a whole series. I will never watch 26 something season of Gundam. I would play the game. This is actually really nice. And that is pretty much it. That's my review of Gundam. Great game, great potential. Can't wait to see where it goes. It's kind of repetitive, but it's actually quite nice because you have auto. So it's basically a chill game. It's basically a super chill game. Domling is your boy. Welcome to the show. If you're doing well, because we're having a wonderful day on this on this 5th May 2025. Today we're checking out a movie which is Megalodon with Jason Statham. It sucks because I heard how bad this movie was, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna give it a chance, right?" And then my problem with Jason Statham, sorry, Mr. Statham, is that Jason had a tendency to play the same role over and over and over again. So like, okay, well, this is a good movie, but I saw this characters multiple times, right? He's pretty much One Direction, or it's pretty much like this one thing, and when they get all done, you expect something else. And I gotta say, he did a really good job. Jason is actually pretty good in this one. He's more relaxed, he's a bit more funny, he's a bit more charismatic. We like this Jason. Everybody said, no, this movie sucks. And I wanted to give it a chance because last week we saw Frank, which was one of my favorite movie. One of my favorite Jason Statham movie. It's not my favorite. So we watched Megalodon, and I gotta say, dude, the whole, to me, the best, the very best movie from the sea. Her movie is gonna be Jaw. It's still gonna be Jaw. There's such a scene with the sharks. You got Sharknado, you got Shark Nation, you got Shark Weeks, you got, even then they mentioned it in Shark Week, right? They mentioned Shark Week and Megalodon. Megalodon suffer from being a cliche movie. Well, I guess after the biggest of the fish, right? And Megalodon 2, guess what? The fish is even bigger. So you can do Megalodon 3 and only have a fish that is bigger. It's a completely different story. The movie in itself is actually pretty good. It's cringe, it's everything that you would expect. So I look at a movie like Expendable, and I see cringe, but and again, it's the perfect action movie, so you expect that. Megalodon, I know that it's gonna be cringe, but there's no saving graces. There's no saving graces. Expendable to me is a movie that knew there was cringe and embraced it. Megalodon is a movie that saw it was not serious and never was serious. There's a bunch of people. And there's the classic daughter that she has a father that she needs to please, right? So she ended up trying to please him, and he's in love with her. So he's trying to help her, right? I would have, but again, there's no. Let's actually talk. I would have loved like, hey, this guy is against. That's my daughter. He wants her romantically speaking. I need to get him. I need to see if he's strong enough. But then it goes in, and he's the only guy that can cover. He's the only diver that's experienced enough to get him. And then, oh well, you're such a good diver. Have my daughter. It doesn't make any sense. Then Dwight from The Office that plays in it, Rainn Wilson, actually does a pretty good job. But then again, Rainn Wilson does a job where is a comedic aspect. So you have a movie that's kind of cringe and kind of cliche, so much that it's funny, so you don't need funny characters. And then when you have funny characters, it's like we're intentionally doing funny. So Megalodon would have been such a good movie if they were pretending like it was super serious. And when it came out and people say, hey, and after you wait a couple of months to say, hey, yeah, it was a comedy. But because they have funny characters, they cannot pretend like, oh, it wasn't a comedy, right? Which is, I don't know, I would have preferred that. Next, we have, once again, the Megalodon itself. The Megalodon itself is actually an interesting concept. I think they bank on the fact that we don't know what's deep down there, right? And it's actually quite nice. It's actually quite nice because it's the faction of, there might be a beast down there that's that big, right? That size, right? Ultimately speaking, what would you do? But I just don't believe we don't have the equipment to kill it. We have nuclear bomb it. I'm sure we can have something like that. And then the problem also is I don't think a beast like that would be able to exist, right? Because the ecosystem completely would be fucked up. But then they sell it to you, and they did that. But they could have done they could have done something else. They could have done a giant sea serpent or a giant eel. They had to choose a shark. So because it's such a overused animal, they're like, oh, another shark movie, right? And then not great, but now you know what? People will say it's one of the worst movies they ever made. It's a lot worse. Man has this saving grace where there's a lot of budget, so at least the movie is well made. The story, the script, the narrative sucks, but it's well made, right? Give me a movie where there's good effects. So give me. we just made a video about Jeepers Creepers. Give me a video, give me a movie like Megan, and give me a movie like Chucky's, right? Chucky is 10 times better than Megan, but Megan, because it's more recent, has better graphics, and people are gonna choose Megan. That is pretty much it. Anyway, love you guys, take it easy. Peace. Don't blink, it's your boy Ying. Hope you guys are having a nice 5th May 2025. We're doing a special video today. We're doing the first thoughts and the final thoughts on Blue Eye Samurai. So what I usually do is I see a trailer and I say, hey, this could be good. And I watch the first episode and then I give you my first thoughts. However, we watched a show called Blue Samurai on Netflix, and it was so freaking good that we watched the whole thing. And I gotta say, you gotta watch this series. It is so good. So what is the story of Blue Eye Samurai? The story of Blue Eye Samurai is actually quite simple. It's a girl living in old Japan where race and family were really important. So with Japanese, the father, the mother, the climate from which you hail was really important. And then you have this kid, and this kid was a half breed. So a father that's a white man and a mother that's I think it's a Japanese woman, right? So it's actually super good because she has blue eyes, and then she's a woman. So it's kind of everything. So for example, right, you would think that because she has blue eyes, she'll get bullied, and she does get bullied. But then you realize that the biggest thing for her is not having blue eyes, being a woman, because back then a woman couldn't be samurai, right? And then there's even a better thing. There's an even better thing. There's this character whose whole storyline is becoming a good woman to marry. Becoming a good woman to marry. So technically speaking, the two only female characters of the show are both single lady. One of them is learning how to be the perfect wife, and one of them is living how to become the perfect samurai. The story is like it's great. We're talking about honor, and it's so freaking good. Just the story in itself. They learn. She's super strong. First of all, she's super chill. Second of all, she's a badass. Third of all, what's most interesting is all characters kind of have this really good scene. So, for example, this first character we meet is a samurai that is held as one of the greatest samurai. He's the greatest, and because of that, he gets cocky. And because he gets cocky, what happened is